A pop quiz from SelecTV. Question 1. How many new movies a week do you get on SelecTV?
1.
Nope.
4.
Time's up. You get 12 new movies a week on SelecTV. Question 2. What games are coming to SelecTV?
Strip poker.
What about Trivial Pursuit?
The answer is Lakers home games. Now, bonus question. How much does all this cost?
$5,000?
Yes again.
Nothing.
Right, nothing. SelecTV's having a free trial offer. Call now or you lose.
While you're at home enjoying the baseball playoffs, Ion LA is putting together all new shows featuring the best the Southland has to offer. Not to mention bringing the world's most exotic locales right into your own living room, including Hong Kong, the Bahamas, Singapore, Hawaii, Bangkok, Mexico, Australia, and New Zealand. You expect the best from us. This fall, we won't let you down. Just put your eye on LA and only on 7.
Happy Rosh Hashanah from Channel 7.
This is Casablanca against the dark mystery of a foreign airfield. But what color was Bogey's hat? And what color was Bergman's coat? We want to know, don't we? Well, no, not really. But if a new process named colorization has its way, Casablanca and thousands of other black and white classics will be tinted to resemble color films. And colorization is our subject this week on Siskel and Ebert and the movies.
That's the classic Yankee Doodle Dandy in color. Aren't you glad to know, boys and girls, because that movie was made in black and white before you were born, that the colors of the American flag are red, white, and blue. The process of colorizing classic black and white movies is the subject of this special show called Hollywood's New Vandalism, a title I guess the tips are independently arrived at point of view. I'm Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune.
And I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times. Colorization itself is such an ingenious technological breakthrough that there's a temptation almost to applaud the work that went into it without asking where it ought to have been done in the first place. What they do is the colorizers take an old black and white movie and assign color values to various areas in the first frames of each individual shot. Areas like the faces and clothing of the actors or the sets or landscapes that they're seen against. Then a computer takes over and does the dirty work, individually colorizing thousands of frames so that the result is a movie that looks like it was shot in color. Well, it sort of looks like it was shot in color. In fact, what it really looks like is it was shot in black and white, and then somebody tried to paint black and white into pinks and blues and things, but we'll get to that in a moment.
With a spray can.
With a spray can, okay? The two major players in the colorizing industry are Colorization Incorporated in Toronto and Color Systems Technology, which is based in Marina del Rey, California, and which currently has a deal with Ted Turner's Atlanta Superstation to colorize 100 old MGM and United Artists classics, movies that Turner bought when he bought the MGM library. Turner recently broadcast Yankee Doodle Dandy on WTBS, his station, and some of the other classics that will be colorized include Errol Flynn and Captain Blood, so now we can see that the blood was red.
Wow.
Betty Davis in the tearjerker melodrama Dark Victory, sure looks dark to me. Humphrey Bogart as a killer on the loose in High Sierra. Those mountains were green. They had rocks in them that had colors on them. And Bogart again in John Huston's classic thriller, The Maltese Falcon, and I'll bet you that falcon was black. That movie is going to broadcast on Turner Station in November. Meanwhile, the Frank Capra classic, It's a Wonderful Life, will play in a colorized version on many different stations around the country this holiday season, and it's already available in video stores. It's a safe bet that John Huston won't be watching when Ted Turner plays the colorized version of The Maltese Falcon in November. John Huston has joined many other members of the Directors Guild of America in describing the process of colorization as cultural butchery.
It's also a little bit of economic butchery, too, because the people are wondering why some of these titles were selected For example, It's a Wonderful Life. It's because the film, as you know, is out of copyright. Anyone can do anything they want with it. Television stations can run it for free, and people with color computers can now colorize it and sell it as their own. And again,
as a result of that, the fact is that in a way the colorizers are appropriating somebody else's work, because Frank Capra makes no money from this movie. Jimmy Stewart makes no money from this movie. The writers, the technicians make no money. Only the colorizers have found a way to make it new and sell it again.
And the guy who shot it in black and white and put all the effort in getting the lighting in black and white, he doesn't make a penny either.
Forget about him. Both Jimmy Stewart and Frank Capra have publicly pleaded that the colorizers leave It's a Wonderful Life alone. But, as I said, it's out of copyright, and therefore, like a lot of these movies, it's defenseless. Some of my favorite movies, like The Third Man, are out of copyright. They can do anything they want with it, and yet not a single major movie director anywhere in the world is in favor of colorization. Not one. Directors and a lot of other film lovers believe that black and white films were shot that way for a reason, and they should be left the way the original artists intended them to be done. But colorized movies are turning up on television, and the video stores are full of them. The colorizers seem to feel that there's something missing from a black and white film, as if the film were somehow handicapped by not being in color. Even recent films that deliberately were shot in black and white, even in a color period, are now being colorized. Here's an example of that. George Romero's 1967 horror film, Night of the Living Dead. Well, looking at that leads to the conclusion that with colorization, first of all, it shouldn't be done at all, but if they're going to do it, they should do it better. Did you notice there in the colorized version of Night of the Living Dead, the sky, the woman's dress, the tombstones, and the shirts on both men were all matching violet? They only apparently had one colorized color on their electronic palette.
Well, you're exactly right. There's one point I want to differ with you a little bit. You're saying that these people in these color companies
feel that especially comedies where timing, movement, and dialogue are a lot more important than color. So I'd like to invite you to enlist in a guerrilla war against colorization by renting your favorite comedy that was shot in color and then taking it home and adjusting your TV set to watch it in black and white. I think it'll make it funnier, and that's what I'm going to do right here with a famous scene from Mel Brooks' great comedy Blazing Saddles. Now, you've probably seen this scene many times in color, but here it is in black and white.
Hey, you can't park that animal over there. It's illegal.
Here we go.
It was just as funny even when we couldn't see what color the horse was.
Right.
Now, I know there are probably a lot of people from the colorizing companies in Toronto and out of Marina Del Rey who are sitting right now probably watching this show and saying, they're probably watching Honeymooners reruns, trying to think what they're going to do to them. But they're watching our show and thinking that the idea, my idea of turning color movies into black and white is the dumbest idea they've ever heard of. And all I've got to say is it may be dumb, but it's not quite as dumb as what you're doing.
Yeah, they'd probably like to have our show in all white or all black. I want to make one sort of serious point in conclusion, because I think there's another argument that they would say is, but fellas, we're not destroying these old movies. All we're those old movies can be shown in theaters and revival theaters if anybody wants to go. Or if you want to rent them in black and white, rent them in black and white. All we're going to do is give people an option. And we're going to show them in prime time.
Whoopi Goldberg from The Color Purple stars in the computer world comedy Jumpin' Jack Flash, and William Hurt falls in love trying to teach a deaf woman to talk in Children of a Lesser God. That's next week, and until then, the balcony, which I wish was in black and white, Gene, the balcony is closed.
Schaefer & Sons classic pianos, organs, guitars, and drums. Instruments for all your musical needs from Schaefer & Sons. Nestle Crunch, creamy milk chocolate and crispy crunchies. Chocolate is scrumptious when it crunches. That's why you'll love Nestle Crunch. Duster Plus, now with 50% less oil. That's less oil to feel every time you dust. New Duster Plus. Sun Giant Snacks, California's best tasting raisins, dates, almonds, and pistachios. There's something good under the sun. Sun Giant Snacks.